Welcome to Homeschool Helps with Amanda. I'm Amanda Wares, Homeschool Helps Director with NCHE. So today we are still talking about homeschooling high school. I have done segments before and said this before, but it bears repeating. In North Carolina, if you are a registered homeschool, there are no graduation requirements as far as the state goes, legally speaking. So you are the school. You, parent, are the guidance counselor. You are the teacher, the administrator. So you set those graduation requirements. That's the first thing I want you to know about homeschooling high school. Really, it's all up to you, which can feel a little bit overwhelming. So today we're going to break down, what do you do? How do you make a plan? I talked last time about making a loose 4-year plan. We begin with the end in mind, right? So how do you do that? Well, I'll tell you what I did. So for my kids, I've had 3 that have graduated so far, and they are wildly different in their learning styles, in their motivations, and what they wanted to do after high school. So their plan looked different for all 3. But let's talk first about my son that definitely wanted to go and was going to go to a 4-year university. So if you have a student that is for sure, or even you think probably is going to go to a 4-year university, you want to look at a couple of different universities and what are their admission requirements. And then, so make a list of those admission requirements. They are generally pretty similar, pretty common among 4-year universities, but you want to look at them. Just look at a couple different ones and see what their admission requirements are. Then make a list of what that is, and then break that up into 4 years. Break it up into 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. So for me, for my son, it looked like English 1, English 2, English 3, English 4, and then Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2, pre-calculus, and then so on with science, with the history, whatever it is. Now, within those requirements, there can be a lot of creativity. For example, my son was dyslexic. He really did not love to read, but he loved movies. So for his 9th grade English credit, we did a curriculum called Movies as Literature. Yes, he had to read, but he also got to watch movies along with it, and it was a lot of fun. So there's a lot of creativity that can go in and flexibility into fulfilling those requirements that you make for your student. Now, if you have a student, like I did, that is probably not going to be 4-year university bound, that could look a little bit different. And depending on what they're passionate about, what they're interested in, what they're gifted in. My daughter, for example, was a pre-professional ballet dancer, and she had the opportunity to have an apprenticeship with a professional ballet company. You better believe that went on her transcript as ballet performance. Another daughter, she was really involved in music one year, and she spent many hours writing songs and learning about producing music and all of those things and performing music. You better believe that was on her transcript as a music credit. But once you figure out those requirements that you're going to have for your student, you break them up into 4 years. But then within those requirements, you can be really creative and flexible in what fulfills those requirements and those credits on your transcript. Now, I will talk in another segment about specifically creating a transcript, but I promise it's not as hard as you think. And there's many helps out there online and otherwise to help you make that transcript. So don't be scared. But again, to make that loose 4-year plan, and I say loose because you don't want to be rigid and say, oh, this is what we're doing, no matter what. Maybe they need a certain number of science classes, but what science are they interested in? That's fine. If the requirement is a life science, there's several different choices within life science that they could choose which one they're more interested in. So get your student involved as well. All right, I think that's all I've got today. Really hope that helps.